Right now, Costco is sitting on 147 million active memberships worldwide. 147 million people paying every single year for the right to walk through those warehouse doors. And for most of those people, it's been the same routine for years. Flash the card. Walk in. Load up the cart. Go home. But in 2026, Costco rules have changed. Quietly. Significantly. And in some cases, permanently. Here's the part that gets most people. You don't have to do anything dramatic to lose your membership. You don't have to steal. You don't have to start a fight. You just have to keep doing things the way you've always done them. And suddenly, the system flags you. Your cart gets blocked at checkout. You're asked to leave. Or worse, your account disappears entirely. So before your next visit, which for many of you might be this week, here are 15 new Costco rules for 2026 that you need to know. Some of them are about technology. Some are about enforcement. And 3 of them are things I genuinely haven't seen covered anywhere else. We're talking real policy shifts, what they mean for your wallet, and exactly what you need to do to stay protected. If this kind of consumer insider content is useful to you, hit subscribe. We break down major retail policy changes. Okay, let's get into it. Rule 1. Mandatory face match scanning at the entrance. Let's start with the moment you arrive. Walking through the Costco entrance used to be simple. You'd flash your card, maybe make quick eye contact with the door greeter, and you were in. That is no longer how this works. Starting in 2026, every customer entering a Costco warehouse is required to scan a barcode or QR code at the entrance. The system instantly pulls up your profile photo on a screen that the door staff can see. Your face has to match. Not approximately match. Match. If your photo is outdated, and we're talking anything blurry, poorly lit, wearing sunglasses, or taken several years ago when you look noticeably different, you may be asked to present a government-issued ID. You may be sent back to the membership counter to retake your photo on the spot. And that little detour? It costs you 10 to 15 minutes minimum. Here's what most people don't realize about why this is happening. Costco generates the majority of its profit not from selling products, from your membership fee. Every account that gets shared between 2 non-household members is a lost. And here's a number that hasn't made it into most coverage of this story. If even 2% of those 147 million memberships, at $65 per card, that's close to $200 million in annual revenue that Costco has been essentially giving away. The face match system is the fix. The pro tip here is simple. Before your next visit, open the Costco app, check your profile photo, and if there's any doubt about whether it looks like you right now, go to the membership desk and update it. It takes 5 minutes. It can save you from a very frustrating experience at the front door. Rule 2. No membership, no hot dog. For decades, the Costco food court was one of the most democratic spaces in American retail. You didn't need a membership to grab a slice of pizza or that legendary $1.5 shot dog and soda combo. You could walk in off the street, order, eat, leave. Nobody checked. That's over. In 2026, the food court self-order kiosks now require you to scan your membership card before you can place any order. If you don't scan, the kiosk simply will not proceed. No workaround. No asking someone nearby to order for you. The transaction is locked to a valid membership account. The $1.5 shot dog combo, one of the most famous value items in American retail history, unchanged in price since 1985, is now exclusively for paying members. Here's the context that explains why this had to change. During peak events, Costco's food court operates at an almost incomprehensible scale. On a single Halloween day, pizza sales alone have reportedly reached over 350,000 pies. That kind of volume, when combined with an open-door policy for non-members, was creating genuine operational overload. Office workers from neighboring buildings, casual visitors, people who had no intention of shopping, all of them crowding a space designed primarily for members who just finished a serious shop. The practical tip here: if you're a member, you can actually pre-order food court items through the Costco app. That's a feature most members haven't discovered yet. And remember, this same verification logic isn't stopping at the food court. It's spreading to every part of the Costco experience. Which brings us to Rule 3. Card sharing is now a bannable offense. Let's talk about something a lot of people have been doing for years and quietly assuming was fine. Borrowing a friend's Costco card. Letting a coworker use yours while you're out of town. Having your college kids swipe the family card across the country. In 2026, every one of those behaviors carries real risk. Not a stern look from a door greeter. Actual account consequences. Here's how the enforcement works now. The system verifies your identity at the entrance when you scan in. Then it verifies it again when you check out. That means there are two distinct checkpoints where a mismatch can be caught. If you're using someone else's card and the photo doesn't match at the door, you may be stopped immediately. If you somehow get through the door and the mismatch is caught at checkout, your entire cart can be blocked. You won't be able to complete your purchase. You'll be required to leave. One violation. No prior warning. That's the new standard. Costco's rules around secondary cardholders have also been tightened. You can add one additional person to your membership at no extra cost, but that person must live at the same residential address as you. There is no longer any flexibility around lending your card to someone outside your household, even temporarily. The business reason is transparent. Costco's membership fee revenue grew by over 13.6% in recent quarters. That growth is directly tied to converting card sharers into paying members. The enforcement isn't punitive for its own sake, it's revenue strategy. The pro tip: if you have a family member who regularly shops with you, add them as an official secondary cardholder now, before you hit a problem. It costs nothing extra and protects both of you. Rule 4. Pre-scan technology is changing the checkout line. Here's something that's been catching shoppers completely off guard. You're standing in line, waiting for your turn at the register, and an employee walks up and starts scanning your card. Right there in the line. Before you've reached the register at all. This isn't a mistake. This isn't a random courtesy check. This is Costco's pre-scan system, and it's rolling out across warehouses in 2026. Employees use handheld scanning devices to process most of your items while you're still in the queue. By the time you actually reach the register, the heavy lifting is already done. You confirm, you pay, and in many cases, the final step takes as little as 8 seconds. According to Costco's own internal reporting, pre-scanning can improve checkout throughput by approximately 20% during peak hours. For shoppers during a weekend rush, that's a meaningful difference. Here's something most people won't think about until it's too late. Don't rearrange your cart after an employee has pre-scanned it. The employee logs which items are in which section of the cart. If you shift things around, the system may not reconcile properly at the register, creating a delay or a discrepancy. Leave your cart exactly as it is after the pre-scan, and you'll be through in seconds. But here's what Costco isn't telling you in any press release. All of that scan data, what you bought, how much, how often, your purchase patterns over time, is being logged to your membership account. And that data feeds into something much bigger. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. But first, there are still 11 more rules to get through, and several of them are ones you genuinely may not have heard anywhere else yet. Rule 5. Your profile photo is now a security checkpoint. We already talked about face match at the door. But this rule goes deeper, because it's not just about having a photo, it's about what your digital membership profile looks like inside the Costco app, and what happens when it doesn't meet the new requirements. If you're using the digital membership card on your phone, your profile photo must be clear. No sunglasses. No hat pulled low. No face mask. No poor lighting. And the system isn't just displaying your photo to staff. The app now integrates biometric login features, including Face ID and fingerprint authentication. This means the app is designed to confirm that the person holding the phone is the actual account holder before the digital card even becomes accessible. You can't just hand someone your phone and your Costco app anymore. Here's what most people don't realize. If your app photo fails the quality check at the entrance scanner, even if your account is completely valid and in good standing, you can be asked to show a government-issued ID right at the door. In a busy Saturday morning rush, that creates an awkward stop that slows everyone behind you and can feel unnecessarily stressful. The fix takes about 4 minutes. Go to the membership counter during any Costco visit, ask to retake your photo, stand in good light, face forward. Done. That one small action protects you every single time you walk through the door going forward. And speaking of your phone replacing your wallet at Costco, the shift goes well beyond just your membership card. Rule 6. Digital receipts and AI at the exit. The paper check is dying. If you've been to Costco in the last couple of years, you know the routine at the exit. An employee stops you, takes your paper receipt, and scans or manually marks off your big items before you leave. It's one of those Costco-specific moments. Part of the culture. It's going away. In 2026, digital receipts are now stored automatically in your Costco account. No paper copy needed. You open the app, your receipt is right there, and you can display it at the exit on your phone. But the much bigger change is happening behind the scenes. In a growing number of Costco warehouses, the exit verification process is being tested with AI-assisted camera systems. Instead of a staff member manually checking each item in your cart, overhead cameras scan the contents and cross-reference what they see against your digital receipt in real time. This isn't just scanning barcodes. The system is analyzing item count, size, and product type to match against purchase data. In pilot locations, exit wait times have been reduced by approximately 30% during peak hours. Here's the practical tip. Keep your Costco app open before you reach the exit, and don't close the receipt screen. The digital display needs to be immediately accessible. If your phone is buried and locked and the exit line is moving fast, you'll create a bottleneck for yourself and everyone behind you. And here's the thing, all of this data, your entry scan, your purchase record, your exit verification, it's all being captured, time-stamped and stored to your membership profile. Feeding into something we're going to talk about very soon. Stay with me. Rule 7. Costco gas stations now require membership scan at the pump. Raise your hand if you've ever pulled up to a Costco gas station, pumped your gas, and paid, either with someone else's card or without really thinking about the membership verification step. In 2026, that's no longer possible. The pump will not activate until you scan a valid membership card. Not select your fuel grade. Not insert payment. Scan membership first. If the card is expired, if the card belongs to someone else, if the card in any way fails validation, the pump stays locked. This is particularly significant because Costco gas stations have been expanding as standalone locations, separate from the main warehouse. These aren't attached to a store where staff can visually monitor activity. They operate more independently. So the verification has to happen at the pump itself, automatically, before any fuel is dispensed. The flip side of the stricter enforcement is a better reward for compliant members. Costco Anywhere Visa cardholders now earn up to 5% cash back on Costco gas purchases. If you're a valid member using the right payment card, tighter rules actually work in your favor. You're getting more value while the people gaming the system are being locked out. Pro tip, make sure your Costco Visa and your membership account are linked in the app before you pull up to a pump. A technical mismatch between your card and your account can create a pump activation failure, even if both are individually valid. If you've been finding this useful, hit that subscribe button. We do this every week, retailer by retailer, policy by policy. Rule 8. The electronics return window. And what's actually new in 2026. Here's a rule where I want to be honest with you, because most coverage of this topic gets it wrong. The 90-day return window for electronics at Costco, TVs, laptops, tablets, cameras, smartwatches. It has existed since approximately 2007. If you've seen other videos describing this as a brand new 2026 change, they're either misinformed or deliberately misleading you for the click. What is new in 2026 is the enforcement layer on top of that existing policy. Costco has now deployed purchase behavior tracking technology that specifically monitors return patterns on your account. The system is designed to flag what the industry calls rent and return behavior, buying a 75-inch TV for the Super Bowl, buying a projector for an event, and returning it the following week. These patterns are now being detected algorithmically across your full account history. Once an account is flagged for abusive return behavior, all future returns on that account may be subject to manual review. In some cases, return requests may be denied outright. The 48-hour diamond verification rule, where returns of diamonds over 1 carat require up to 2 days for expert authentication, is also real, and it illustrates how return scrutiny scales with item value. Pro tip: if you're genuinely unsure about an electronics purchase, make your decision within 30 days, not 89. An 89-day return looks exactly like an intentional use and return cycle to an automated tracking system. 30 days reads as a legitimate change of mind. This is where things get really interesting, because this return tracking doesn't exist in isolation. It's one data point inside a much larger profile Costco is building on every single one of its members. And it's time to talk about what that profile actually is. Here's something that has been quietly discussed by retail analysts and Costco insiders, but has not been officially confirmed by Costco itself. Think about everything we've covered so far. Your entry scan, your photo verification, your purchase history, your checkout behavior, your return patterns, your gas station card use, your exit scan. All of that data is being collected, time-stamped, and tied to your membership account. Retail analysts believe Costco's internal systems function with something resembling a customer behavioral score, a composite picture of whether you're a low-risk, high-value member or a pattern of problems waiting to happen. Nobody outside Costco knows exactly how it works. But the output of that score is visible in how enforcement decisions get made. Who gets flagged? Who gets a second look? Whose account gets reviewed versus whose gets terminated? For most members who shop normally, this system works silently and invisibly in the background. You never know it's there because you never trigger it. But for members who've been bending the rules, card sharing, aggressive returns, inconsistent photo verification, and at some threshold, the system acts. Keep that in mind as we go through the next few rules. Rule 9. Self-checkout is no longer self-service. Self-checkout was supposed to be the fast lane. Scan your own stuff, tap your card, walk out. No waiting for a staff member. Full independence. In 2026, that's not what self-checkout looks like at Costco anymore. You'll still see the self-checkout stations, but there will almost always be an employee right there beside you, and in many cases, that employee will be the one scanning your items. They use handheld devices to process your cart directly, rather than relying on you to scan each item at the kiosk. This shift is driven by a real and measurable problem: shrink. When customers scan their own items in a high-volume environment with large, complex carts, mistakes happen. Items get missed. Wrong codes get scanned. And in some cases, items don't get scanned at all. Retail shrink, the combined loss from theft, errors, and fraud, costs U.S. retailers over $100 billion every year. Costco, with its massive cart sizes and high-value bulk purchases, is particularly exposed. In some Costco locations, the total number of self-checkout machines has actually been reduced. The hybrid model, employee-assisted self-checkout, has proven more accurate and counterintuitively often faster than fully independent scanning. Pro tip: don't try to rush the process. Keep your cart organized with similar items grouped together. The employee can move significantly faster through a well-organized cart. If you're fighting the process instead of working with it, you're slowing yourself down. Rule 10. Children and pets. What the safety rules actually mean. This one doesn't make headlines because it doesn't involve technology or enforcement algorithms. But it's a rule that's being applied more strictly in 2026, and if you're a regular Costco shopper with kids or a dog, you need to hear it. Costco warehouses are not malls. They're not grocery stores. They're active industrial environments. Forklifts are operating on the floor during store hours. Pallets of merchandise are being moved continuously. The aisles are wide for operational reasons, not for leisure. The pet rule is straightforward: only service animals that comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act are permitted inside. Companion animals, emotional support animals, dogs you bring because you don't want to leave them in the car, none of these qualify. If you bring a pet inside that isn't a certified ADA service dog, you will be asked to remove the animal. And increasingly, you may be asked to leave entirely if the situation isn't resolved quickly. For children, the standard is that anyone under 16 must be accompanied by an adult and must not be allowed to run unsupervised in the warehouse space. With a forklift potentially operating 30 feet away from where a child is running, This is a genuine safety concern, not a preference. Pro tip: if you do have a certified service dog, consider carrying a brief documentation card. Staff are not permitted to demand proof under ADA rules, but having it available prevents awkward moments and speeds up any questions at the door. Rule 11. Purchase limits on high-demand items. If you've been using Costco as a source for limited edition products, gold or silver bars, or high-margin Kirkland releases, your strategy just got significantly more complicated. In 2026, Costco enforces firm purchase limits on hot items from the moment they hit the floor. The most prominent example is precious metals. Gold bars are now capped at 1 unit per transaction, and a maximum of 2 units within any 24-hour period. That per transaction limit is fairly well known. What most people haven't figured out yet is how the 24-hour limit is enforced at the account level. If you buy 2 gold bars today, and your spouse on their own separate Costco trip tomorrow also tries to buy 2 bars under a different account at the same household, the system may flag the pattern across linked addresses. This directly targets the behavior of resellers who've been using household members, friends, and multiple accounts to essentially bypass quantity limits. The era of send 5 different family members to buy 5 bars each is coming to an end. The broader principle extends beyond precious metals. Any product that Costco's system identifies as high demand and limited in stock can have algorithmic quantity controls applied, especially Kirkland signature items that develop strong resale markets. Pro tip: if there's a high demand item you legitimately want, use the Costco app to set up a purchase alert or track inventory at your local warehouse. Being informed is now far more valuable than showing up repeatedly to try to stockpile. But what if it's already too late? What if your account is sitting at the edge of being flagged right now, or maybe it already has been? There's actually a way back. Almost nobody talks about it. And that's coming up in Rule 15. Rule 12. Permanent membership revocation. How the threshold works. And it should, because it is. Costco has moved from a warning-based enforcement model to a threshold-based model. That distinction matters enormously. Under the old approach, a flagged account might receive a warning, a reminder, a customer service interaction where someone explains what you did wrong and what will happen if you do it again. That's not how it works now. Under the threshold model, your account accumulates behavioral data points over time, unusual return patterns. You don't receive a notification when you're approaching the threshold. You don't get a final warning email. The system evaluates your cumulative history, and when a certain pattern is established clearly enough, the account is terminated. The specific triggers include receipt fraud, price tag switching, and systematic return abuse. In-store misconduct toward employees, which Costco takes very seriously, is also a factor. But what surprises most people is that none of these need to be dramatically obvious violations. A consistent pattern of behavior that doesn't rise to the level of a single obvious incident can still cross the threshold when viewed cumulatively. Once your membership is permanently revoked, everything tied to it disappears. Your cashback rewards, your purchase history, your executive member annual reward, your Costco travel access, your pharmacy and optical benefits, all of it immediately inaccessible. And here's the part that stings for executive members specifically. An executive member spending $15,000 a year at Costco earns $300 annually in 2% reward. That's before accounting for the exclusive travel deals, the discounted services, the tire center and pharmacy benefits. The total value of an executive membership, used properly, is often measured in hundreds of dollars beyond just the $130 annual fee. That's what's on the line. Not just the fee. The entire ecosystem. And now we get to 3 rules that almost nobody is covering because they're not in Costco's press releases, they're not trending on Reddit, and they require a bit more context to understand. But they're real, they're rolling out in 2026, and they will affect you. Rule 13. The executive member stakes calculation. What you're actually risking. Most coverage of Costco's 2026 rule changes treats all members equally. Executive members and Gold Star members, same rules, same consequences. But that framing misses something important. If you're an executive member paying $130 a year instead of $65, your exposure to these rule changes, and if you haven't done the math, it's worth doing right now. Executive membership comes with a 2% annual reward on most Costco purchases, capped at $1,000 per year. If you're a moderate to heavy Costco shopper, spending around $15,000 per year, that's $300 in cash reward. If you're spending $20,000 a year, which for a large family buying groceries, electronics, tires, and fuel at Costco is entirely realistic, you're looking at $400 in reward before any other benefits are factored in. On top of that, executive members get access to Costco Travel, where bulk pricing on car rentals, they get discounted rates at the Costco Auto Program, priority access at the pharmacy and optical center, financial services discounts. Here's what the rule changes mean for this picture. The moment your account is flagged for any of the enforcement triggers we've discussed, a card-sharing incident, an unusual return pattern, a checkout anomaly, all of these executive benefits can be suspended during account review. Not just the card access, the entire benefits ecosystem. And if the account is permanently revoked, no refund of your $130 fee, no payout of accumulated reward. Whatever you had in your reward balance at the time of revocation is forfeited. The pro tip for executive members is to do an annual self-audit. Review your return history. Confirm your household secondary cardholder is properly registered. Make sure your profile photo is current. These are 5-minute maintenance tasks that protect potentially hundreds of dollars in annual value. The members who lose executive accounts almost never saw it coming because they never stopped to check. Rule 14. The digital divide. What happens if you don't have a smartphone? Almost every single rule we've discussed today has one thing in common. It's better experienced, easier to navigate, and less friction-filled if you have a smartphone with the Costco app installed. Digital membership card. Biometric login. App-based receipt access. Digital food court ordering. Purchase alerts for hot items. App-linked gas station membership verification. Now ask yourself, what happens to members who don't have smartphones? This is not a hypothetical concern. According to Pew Research Center data from 2024, approximately 25% of Americans, that's 1 in 4 senior Costco members, navigating a system that has been progressively redesigned around app functionality. Physical membership cards will still work in 2026. That's important to state clearly. Costco has not made the app mandatory, but the experience gap between app users and non-app users has widened significantly. A non-app member will face more friction at entry, slower photo verification, manual receipt handling, no pre-order capability at the food court. They can't access digital receipts for return processing. They can't display a quick QR code at the gas pump. Every step takes longer. For elderly shoppers, or members in areas with unreliable mobile coverage, or anyone who simply hasn't adopted smartphone-based shopping, these changes represent a meaningful degradation in the Costco experience, without any explicit policy change targeting them. The most practical thing you can do if this affects someone you know is to spend 20 minutes helping them set up the Costco app on their device, or to ensure their physical card photo at the membership desk is perfectly current and clear. Those 2 steps protect the most fundamental parts of the experience. The app is genuinely not complicated once it's set up, and for a family member who shops at Costco regularly, it's worth the investment of time to get them there. Rule 15. The account recovery path. What nobody tells you. And now we get to the rule that answers the question almost every viewer of these Costco videos eventually asks, usually in a comment after they've already had a problem. Is there any way back in if I've been flagged? The answer is yes. But you won't find it on Costco's website FAQ. You won't find a form to fill out. And it's not a process that Costco advertises, for obvious reasons. Here's how it works. If your account has been flagged, which typically means some features are restricted or you've received notification of a policy violation, the first step is to request a formal account review at the membership desk of any Costco warehouse. This isn't the same as asking a floor employee for help. You need to speak directly with a membership services representative and ask for an account review to be submitted. For serious cases, accounts that have been suspended or revoked, the review escalates to regional membership management. This is not a quick resolution. It can take days to weeks for a decision to come back. but it is a real pathway. What makes these reviews go better versus worse comes down to two things: documentation and communication. If you had a legitimate reason for an unusual return, a product defect, a gift gone wrong, a documented special circumstance, come prepared with receipts, photos, and a written account of what happened. The written statement doesn't need to be formal or legal sounding. It needs to be honest, specific, and calm. Members who show up to a membership review defensive, angry, or empty-handed almost always get the worst outcome. Members who show up prepared, cooperative, and genuinely respectful of the staff's time dramatically improve their odds. One more thing to know about Costco's membership policy: the company has always offered a complete refund of your membership fee if you cancel voluntarily and are not satisfied. That policy still exists, but it applies only when you choose to leave. If Costco terminates your account, the fee is not returned. That asymmetry is one more reason why preventing a revocation is so much more valuable than trying to recover from one. So let's pull back for a second and look at the full picture. 15 rules. Some of them are technology upgrades: face scanning, digital receipts, AI at the exit. Some are enforcement changes: return tracking, card sharing crackdowns, gas station verification. And 3 of them, the executive member stakes, the digital divide, and the account recovery path, are things that most Costco-related videos simply aren't discussing. But here's the single most important thing I want you to take away from this. Costco's membership isn't just a card. It's not just a fee. It's an account, a behavioral profile that's being built, updated, and evaluated every single time you walk through those doors. Every scan at entry, every purchase at checkout, every return at the service desk, every tank of gas at the pump. All of it is part of a picture the system is building of you as a member. For the vast majority of shoppers who use their membership straightforwardly, that system will work silently and invisibly in the background for the rest of their lives. They'll never feel it. They'll just enjoy faster checkout, smarter inventory management, and better member benefits. But for members who've been bending the rules, borrowing cards, abusing returns, working around purchase limits, 2026 is the year the system catches up. The good news is that everything we've covered today is fixable, preventable, or navigatable if you know what to look for. Update your photo. Register your household secondary cardholder properly. Know your return timeline. Have your app set up and your digital receipt ready. Understand what's at stake as an executive member. And if someone you love is struggling with the app-based system, help them get set up before it becomes a problem at the door. Before we go, I want to know one thing from you. Out of all 15 of these rules, which one actually surprised you? Drop a +S in the comments below, the one that caught you off guard. It takes 1 second, and it tells me exactly which topics to go deeper on for you. And speaking of going deeper, next week, we're getting into something that connects directly to what you just watched. We're going to break down the exact behavioral thresholds that Costco's system uses to evaluate membership accounts based on insider reporting and retail analytics, and we'll show you what a safe account profile looks like versus one that's quietly accumulating risk. If you're an executive member especially, you're going to want to see that one. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And if you found this video genuinely useful, not just interesting, but actually useful, share it with one person who shops at Costco, because there's a real chance they don't know what we covered today. See you next week.